Sup Starshines, Sylvia-Moonbeam here. PL, Bolt Matrix, and Gemgo already have reviews out for Cyberverse RC, so I don't think I'm going to review her in a separate video, but let me just say this is a good figure. That being said, I've been seeing a lot of people complaining that this figure is a lot better in design and also isn't as sexualized as the Masterpiece RC. Oh god. And the Earthrise RC, which isn't as bad as Masterpiece, but still is a lot more sexualized. And keep in mind that this is a pink-on-pink figure, but she doesn't look sexy. So that made me think about recent design for female Transformers figures. I recognize it's been over a month since my last Transformers video, and I know that most of my Transformers content doesn't do as well as this video. I see you. But I wanted to talk a little bit, not necessarily a theory, but more of just kind of a brief talk about female Transformer figure design and how it's been getting better and worse. Let's get started. So starting off, we have Strongarm and Windblade from the 2015 series, Robots in Disguise. While Windblade does, I just realized you can't even see her waist here. This is relevant. I was trying to make her look cool and I completely took away your ability to see the topic of conversation. Strongarm has pretty good design for a female character. You can definitely tell she does have a little bit of a protrusion on the chest for some bust, and her waist, while it may be a little hard to see, does taper a little bit, and the fact that she does have, pronounced, lips. She is a feminized character without being overtly feminine, and honestly, she's good. Strongarm has really, really good design. She's also one of the only female characters that transforms into something bulky, like a van, or similar to Clobber, how Clobber from Cyberverse turns into a tank. Bulky female figures are good because they don't overly sexualize them. She's a good figure, and honestly, the fact that she was a peg warmer at most targets is a little sad because she's actually a really good figure, and I wish more people had her in their collection. Windblade, on the other hand, is a little more sexualized, to be fair. She does fill into that kind of geisha girl stereotype. She does have a bit larger of a bust, does have more of a tapered waist, and even has, what would be the term for it? Ethme pumps? She literally has stilettos. Definitely not the finest figure, but it did give us, this was a good example of giving us a more feminine figure that actually turns into a plane as opposed to a motorcycle or a car. Next up, of course, is Alita 1. Alita 1 is really good. The actual bust and hip tapering isn't too bad. I actually saw more Starscreams on the shelves than her, so she sold better, presumably. And, the actual, femme shoe isn't that bad. Honestly, this is a pretty good mold. Also, the pink is fairly subtle. You mostly just see it around the head and chest and a little bit on, the accessories and the upper arms. But mostly this is red and white. Nice to see a figure that's not predominantly pink, powder blue, or purple. This is my only Fembot who is of a Voyager size. Pretty much all female Transformers that I own come in the form of deluxe classes. Weird. Moonracer and her repaint Nova Storm came out in the same year. I was never able to get my hands on a Nova Storm, but basically she's just a repaint with a slightly different head. This is not great character design, and honestly, the giant backpack is a problem. That tends to also be a big issue with most female Transformers, is having a massive backpack to make the body as more lithe as possible. I don't necessarily consider this an issue with Strongarm because she just had door wings, but even with decent characters like with Elita 1, she still has a fairly big backpack. This is also the first time we saw this particular design. This, of course, would get the repaint, as I mentioned, into Nova Storm. It would also get remolded to form Chromia as well as Nightbird. And also, this would receive a yellow and green, like neon green repaint for, I believe it's Nightlight or Nightbright or whatever. This isn't a great figure, and honestly, the fact that basically only the hips and hands stayed the same and everything else was either remolded or re-engineered for Chromia is an improvement. She still does have a pretty big size backpack, but it's a lot more compact. It folds together better, and because there isn't a combiner port in there, she also weighs a lot less, which is really nice. They also fixed some of the engineering to give us more ankle tilt. These panels fold back instead of just kind of hanging off the side as much. Also, the molding is a little bit better on the chest and waist. While it certainly isn't that much of a change, it definitely is less tapered on Chromia, and the actual bust protrusion is less obvious, so I consider this to be an upgrade. Plus, it's also really nice that Chromia got a repaint for the Netflix series. I don't own the repaint yet, but I am thinking of buying it because having some of that gray and black on her design kind of appeals to me, and it's one of the few times I'm actually thinking of buying a repaint. So I don't know if you can tell, I have blue lipstick on, and my hair keeps getting stuck to it. I guess it doesn't help that I have a fan there, and my hair is frizzy because it's humid. And then we get into some Cyberverse nonsense. Slipstream, and it's really nice to actually get different size Slipstreams. We do get a Slipstream in the Warrior class, roughly equivalent to the Deluxe class, though she is a straight-up repaint of Starscream. The actual head mold itself is not different at all. They just painted some purple lipstick on her and did this in like baby blue, purple, and like dark pink. Not a great figure, but she is fun to play with, and I like doing this. It's kind of fun. It's like, who are you? I'm Batman. However, her larger figure, which is roughly Voyager size, did get some good stuff. The posability is not perfect. Does also suffer from the FME boots, but honestly, the fact that she has a more feminized figure that isn't the same figure as a Starscream is nice. They could have easily just taken Starscream and made him blue and purple. The fact that they didn't, I'm giving some kudos for. This is one of the few cases where I think it's better that they made a feminine figure as opposed to just repainting a Starscream. On a related note, because this version of Slipstream is just a repaint of Starscream's figure, literally the only thing that is at all feminine besides the color palette is the little bit of lipstick. I think that's maybe where I got the idea to do the purple lipstick. I don't know. And then we get to the live action movies with Shatter. I've done a review on Shatter already. She's a wonderful figure. Again, we still do have the issue with the big backpack, but I mean, you know, we have the entire nose cone of a jet and these big turbines with wings kind of floating off the back, so they do a good job on it. And honestly, this is a fairly movie accurate figure. Also, aside from the like car intake in the front, which I guess could be seen sort of as like a bust, she doesn't have a very feminized figure, and even her feet are fairly flat. with the only thing even vaguely resembling heels being the little bits here on the back of her wings. I like this. This is very good design. I just wish this was a character that was better known, because most people aren't going out and buying Shatter. And so all of this has brought us to a very important place, the most recent figure of Cyberverse RC. She is powder pink and magenta, she has light blue, and her face has purple. This just screams girl colors. Not that there's really such thing as girl colors. I mean, I mostly wear black, blue, and pink, but to be fair, I have a reason for liking blue and pink. This figure does taper the waist a bit, and while she does have a bit of a robo bust, it's not super noticeable, and compared to the Earthrise figure and the Masterpiece figure, she's not overly sexualized. In fact, this character's knees lock in place. You can distinctly hear they lock in place, as opposed to having the double knee that Masterpiece gave her just so she could have the sexy pose. She also has these lovely heels that make her very stable. This figure's not going to fall over, and honestly the backpack is really compact and decently designed considering. So that was me poorly describing female Transformers. The long story short of it seems to be that most female Transformers have pink, light blue, purple, or white. The only exceptions to this are Shatter and Windblade, who both have the black and red combo. Interesting. I have no issue really with feminizing Transformers figures. I just think you have to be really careful with how it's done, because if it's overdone like the two upcoming RCs I mentioned, it can look bad and look more like a fan service figure. However, if it's done well, it can add a little bit of femininity to a figure, and considering most Transformers are male anyway, it's nice to have a little bit of an effeminate touch in a series that I've loved and followed for multiple decades. That's just my opinion, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Sylvia-Moonbeam, and like, comment, bell, button, you know the drill. Love you. Bye.